Jon, I can't thank you enough for being on the CEO Global Network podcast today. I've been looking forward to this 10 minutes that we have together or so. And it's great to see you again. And I know you're a very busy president, okay, and family man. And so we really appreciate you taking the time to be with us today.
Likewise, I've been looking forward to this, so I'm excited, and it's always good to see you.
Oh, thank you very much. Now, I want to let everybody listening and watching to the podcast, I just want to give them a brief thumbnail, couple of highlights about you. Jon is the president at Dahl Valve Limited, and a company that I've known for many, many years. And it's great having you as the president of that company. Prior to that, you were EVP Sales and COO at By York Floors. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
That's correct, yeah.
A lot of experience in sales and running businesses, and you were a podcast host, The Biz with JK, which is about sales, right? And you did that for a couple of years, right? Sales leadership and relationship building, and how important that is. I hope you don't mind me letting people know you were the starting quarterback. I mean, I know you were you were a quarterback with the Concordia Stingers, starting quarterback in the Vanier Cup in '98, right?
That's correct, yeah.
Right. And then while you were developing your career, you were also a quarterback coach at York University. And just let everybody know, the dog lovers out there, you've got a great looking lab called Jax, right? And Jon, it's great to have you with us. It's great to have you with us. And so, first question for you: from quarterback to president, how did sports shape the way that you lead today?
Yeah, it's a good question, because I've always played sports, and so I was a hockey guy. Then I transitioned to football, and I think the biggest thing for me is in a team environment, you have to have discipline, you got to have accountability, it's got to be teamwork, and you got to trust the person next to you, or it's on the ice with you, or beside you on the football field, for an example, to do their job. And I think when you look at what you're trying to build, or you're coming into a corporate environment as a leader and your team, there has to be accountability within the organization and within your leadership organization. There has to be trust amongst your team members. You got to trust them. They equally have to trust you back that you're going to do your job. And you have to have a disciplined mindset when you're trying to build a company. And you put all that together, and if you can get those three parts of the recipe really, 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 really well, you're going to have a great team and a teamwork environment. So I think that the transition happens easily. I've seen a lot of successful leaders come from sports backgrounds, and I truly believe that that's a large part of the success is them understanding what a team environment's really like.
No, 100%. You learn so much from playing sports. There's no question about it. You mentioned accountability. What does being accountable really look like on a team, Jon? And how do you model that as a leader?
Yeah, I think it starts with you leading and owning it yourself. First and foremost, if you don't hold yourself to a higher standard as a leader, you can't expect your team to hold themselves as a higher standard to their team. So I think modeling it first and foremost is the old saying, just show them what has to be done. And if you're able to do that, I think that transitions downwards. The other part too, right, is being transparent and having an open, honest relationship with your team members. I think that there's got to be a foundation that they can come into your office and be vulnerable, be transparent. Not everything goes well. You have accountability measures that you put in place and targets that you have to hit, but you don't always get there. And as long as they can feel comfortable coming in, having those discussions, those honest discussions with you, why we're having some setbacks, and you create that environment and that trusting environment. I think what that does as well is it sets it up easier for a leader to drive accountability to their team, because they're going to want to hit those home runs for you. They're going to want to have those success measures. And if they don't get there, they also know that they can come in and get reset and have those fierce conversations, or transparent conversations, or honest conversations, be vulnerable on why we're not, hitting the marks that we need to. And then you reset and you move forward.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yes, and trust being absolutely so critical, right? So culture lives in the team, not just the leader, as you say. So how do you practically build that kind of ownership? How do you get that ownership across an organization and have that in the culture?
Yeah, I've seen it a number of times where a leader will put values on a wall, put a banner out in their facility and hope that everybody does it. It's the symbolic influence that you have to kind of avoid, or, it's got to be a part of the recipe, but it can't be the entire recipe. And I think where, we see success, or leadership, our leaders can see success, is actually living to the values that are set forward, whether that be hiring. And I've said it in other environments like we're having today is, you hire and you fire off values, and your leadership team also has to do that. So you set the tone for the company. The other part too is people want to feel they have a fingerprint on the contribution of the success of the company, and getting the buy-in really in large is getting them to feel that they're part of the vision. How do they impact to the greater success of the company, their daily jobs? What does that really do? And getting them to understand that creates more of an environment that people are going to want to be a part of and buy into the culture. And we do that through town halls. We do that through offsite meetings. We do that through smaller group interventions internally and larger group. So, it's a constant discussion point. It's constant, not just visibility, but actions that we try to do as leaders here to get buy-in from everyone.
Yeah, no, that's so critical. Jon, I know you're very passionate about people and performance. What is your go-to move when morale might dip a little bit or the teams lose focus? How do you
Yeah.
rectify
Morale's always high, Jon, in a company. That there's never any issues. Go-to move is actually to take a step back from work. I try to build enough relationship strength with my team that I try to be as intuitive as I can. And when I see that there's something off, first and foremost is the hey, what's going on conversation. And I don't think leaders do that often enough with their team members. Secondary to that is I pull them out of work. Let's get out of here. Let's go for a team building event. Let's cut out tomorrow afternoon and let's go for dinner. If it's a one-on-one or if it's a group environment, but when you sense that as a leader, you got to have that ability to say, hold on a second. The work is important. Burnout will cause more of a problem than forcing them to continue to work and get what might be something that you feel is done, but it's not going to be done to the effort that it needs to be done. You got to be able to take a step back. And sometimes there's more work and better work done outside of the office than there is inside the office when morale is down. So we constantly do that. And I ask my leaders to do that with their teams as well. We got to be intuitive as leaders when we see that something is not going right. We got to pull back. We got to have that ability to do that and then take that next step forward once everybody feels readjusted and re-engaged.
Well, that's excellent counsel, Jon. You're so right. Take a step back, take a time out, right? And just get away from it, get perspective. You've worked across a number of industries. What have you found to be a universal truth about leading people? Is there one thing you've seen that is a universal truth?
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you're selling, widgets, basketballs, or pens. People want to be heard. People want an environment where they can come in and feel like they're being treated fairly. And people want to put their fingerprints, like I said earlier, or want to have a sense that they're contributing to the bigger vision of the company. And I said, that doesn't matter what industry. I've been in the flooring industry. I've been in the plumbing industry, worked for multiple different jobs. People want buy-in, and they want to feel like they come to an environment where I'm being treated fairly. And when I'm not, I'm being heard. And that doesn't matter what company you go to or industry you're in. That's what I've seen.
Yeah, I know that is a universal truth, no question. I got one last question for you, Jon, and then we're going to wrap up, okay? If you could whisper one thing to every new president, every new CEO stepping into the role tomorrow, what would it be?
Listen, step into your role and listen. We always want to come in and make an impact or make an adjustment in the business. Listen to your people. That is first and foremost. And what that ultimately does, Jon, is it drives and creates trust with your people. You got to be able to develop trust. In order to get there, you got to understand what they do, how they do it, what makes them tick, what makes them not tick, what's right in the company, what's wrong in the company. And then they feel that they have, again, that buy-in and they can trust this leader. And when you create a trusting environment with your leadership team, boy, oh boy, watch out.
Yeah, boy, oh boy, watch out. It's a powerful weapon, isn't it?
It's so powerful, and it's you got to have that ability to build those relationships, those trusting relationships. And I see far too many leaders come and go, and I've worked for far too many leaders where it's always been the tactical aspect of business, and you go in and you do your job, and if you do your job, then you've done something right. But there's more to it, and you want people to tick, you want people to buy in more often, give that extra effort, work that extra hour, whatever that may be, to get the project across the finish line. Boy, when they trust you and they believe in you and you have that type of relationship, people will go to the end of the world to make you successful, and you have to do the same for them.
Yeah, no, that's just great advice. John, I can't thank you enough for being on the CO Global Network podcast.
Thank you.
I said earlier, I was really looking forward to this time together. Thank you. I learned a lot from this, and I'm sure everybody listening did. So thank you so much for doing this. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, John. I appreciate it. I appreciate being a part of the organization. It's been inspiring. So thank you for all you do as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you.